Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into a really complex set of sources. They detail this period of intense personal pain and political chaos for a man trying so hard to just be Tom Badgerlock.
But he can never quite shake off being FitzChivalry Farseer, can he?
Not a chance. And that's really our mission today, isn't it? We're looking at how this guy tries to step away, live quietly.
And he just gets dragged right back in, the Farseer throne, the politics. It's like gravity. And these sources, they show it's not just court duty. It's like everything crashing down at once. His identity, his family, even his magic.
It feels less like a homecoming and more like a trap closing. He actually says something like, I think we are born into our circuits. Like, we just run in circles.
Exactly. And this whole period feels like him realizing that circle is inescapable. He spent years away trying for that quiet life. Now he's back at Buckkeep and all his personal baggage. It's suddenly a strategic problem.
Yeah, the sources mention him feeling more alone than ever, even surrounded by people he cares about. Hap, Jinna, the Fool, Prince Dutiful.
It's a profound isolation. And a lot of it stems from this crushing grief, the loss of his wolf, Nighteyes.
That loss is central, isn't it? The sources frame it as absolutely devastating.
Oh, completely. He calls Nighteyes the repository of half my soul. It's not just an absence. The source says it's a solid thing, like a physical weight he's carrying.
And you can see how that makes him so closed off, emotionally unavailable.
Right, which creates this constant tension. He's lonely. His wit magic is like reaching out instinctively for companionship.
Like a reflex, yeah.
But he, Tom Badgerlock, pushes it all away. He doesn't want the complication.
We see that really clearly with Jinna, the hedge witch. She's kind to him, offers company.
And he likes the idea of it, the warmth of her fireside,
Yeah.
But the source is clear. Not ready even for a second kiss. His heart's just too raw. He's terrified what intimacy might mean for his whole servant charade.
And that focus on his own pain, that sort of emotional blindness, it directly leads to this huge blow-up with his best friend, Lord Golden, the Fool.
Yeah, it's all about miscommunication, really. And trust. Fitz finds out the Fool let people think they were lovers. Laurel, check.
As part of the whole master and servant act.
Exactly. And Fitz just loses it. Feels totally exposed, embarrassed, furious.
It's a betrayal of the boundaries they'd set up. So he confronts the Fool, tells him to stop this charade and be yourself.
But the Fool's response kind of throws it back at him, doesn't it? It highlights how little Fitz was paying attention to his feelings.
Right. The Fool reveals his amber identity and says, look, this master and man thing, it's only for convenience. Basically saying, you never really asked what I needed.
And there's that detail about the posy, that little flower thing made of black lace and white ribbon.
Oh, yeah. The Fool has it, asks Fitz if it's from him.
And Fitz is just like, nah, it must be the garden woman. Jinna. He totally misses the significance.
Which is?
It's ironic, right? The Fool realizes Jinna actually saw him, the person under the disguise. But Fitz, his closest friend, too wrapped up in his own grief to notice the Fool, might also be looking for connection.
So Fitz is distracted by all this internal stuff, and meanwhile, Buckkeep itself is... well, it's not exactly secure, is it?
Secure. It's a joke.
Yeah.
The main gates are practically unguarded. Fitz gets so angry he actually calls out a guard who's just lounging around drinking beer.
He confronts the swordsman too, Kespin.
Yeah, and Kespin just blows him off. Doesn't take him seriously at all. To him, Fitz is just Lord Golden's man. A bodyguard. Nobody important.
Which is incredibly dangerous given everything else going on, especially with Prince Dutiful. He's 16, struggling.
Yeah, with being a prince, being a teenager. And he's looking to Fitz as a mentor.
But he's easily influenced, and Fitz spots trouble immediately with this guy, Civil Brzinga.
Right. Civil's not just a bad influence. He's witted like Fitz, and Fitz suspects he's mixed up with the Piebalds, these witted assassins.
So Fitz has to step in fast, warn Dutiful, you must learn more caution.
He really does. And caution is definitely missing when it comes to the Odyssey betrothal, the Narcheska Elliania.
That whole situation is fraught, politically vital, but personally a mess.
Absolutely. Huge stakes. But Elliania is clearly distressed, crying, refusing the wedding. Her escort, Pira Blackwater, is even threatened to call the whole thing off if Buckkeep makes deals with Bingtown.
It's high-stakes diplomacy. But then Fitz sees something physical.
Yeah, this is where it gets really disturbing. He spies on her and sees she's covered in these complex metallic tattoos.
Reflecting light like blades, the source says. Stunning, but unsettling.
Very. And one in particular, this green serpent on her back, it's raised, like puffy and searing hot. Pietro has to keep putting snow on it.
You hear it sizzling. Oh, that's horrific.
It is. The source calls it a dark cruelty. an arcane punishment compelling her towards the prince. So this isn't a willing alliance. It seems like she's magically forced into it.
Wow. So the political crisis and the magical threat are completely intertwined.
Which brings us back to the Piebalds.
Mm-hmm. The Witted assassins. Things have been quiet. Maybe Chade and the Queen kept some kind of bargain after the prince came back. No executions.
But the Piebalds are still active. And they're cruel. Calculated cruelty, yeah.
Yep.
Like poisoning Whitecap, Laurel's horse. Laurel, the Queen's huntswoman.
Why her horse?
Because Laurel had protected Fix's horse, My Black, and the Fool horse, Malta. It was sending a message.
And it was personal, wasn't it? Because Laurel couldn't save her horse.
Exactly. She's old blood lineage, but she doesn't have the wit herself. She couldn't ease the horse's passing or even say goodbye. The Piebalds are hitting Fitz's allies where it hurts most, emotionally, making it clear, support Fitz and you suffer.
Okay, so we have grief, political tension, magical assassins, and then Thick gets thrown into the mix.
Ah, Thick. The palace servant who turns out to be incredibly dangerously skilled. The mind magic stuff.
Dangerously? How so?
Well, Fitz startles him once, and Thick almost blasted away every thought in Fitz's head, just instinctively. And Thick puts up this mental wall like, don't see me. Plus, he hates Fitz. Calls him dog stink.
Which Fitz figures out later is because he can still smell Nighteyes, the wolf bond, on him.
Precisely. Yeah. So you've got this guy with immense raw power, but he's, well, the source says, not the brightest man in the keep.
Meaning he can't really be controlled or trusted with secrets.
Right, which puts Chade in a bind. Chade sees the power, wants it for the throne, but Thick is hostile and simple. So Chade's thinking, try to teach him. Probably impossible? Maybe. Cripple his talent. Or just send him far away.
Cripple his talent!
Wow.
Wow, that's cold. Even for Chade.
It shows how high the stakes are. They need skill strength, but Thick is a wild card. He can apparently be bribed with, like raisins and cake, but he's fundamentally unpredictable.
Meanwhile, Fitz is trying to teach Prince Dutiful the skill, and that's not going smoothly either.
Not at all. Dutiful has zero boundaries. When he opens his mind, it's just a floodgate of random thoughts. Chaos. And worse, he's mixing the skill with his own wit power.
Which sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It really does. A dangerous feedback loop in the heir to the throne. And Fitz is trying to manage all that while hiding his own issues with the skill. This possible pain barrier left by his old teacher, Galen, that makes skilling agony for him.
So he's teaching the prince a dangerous magic blend while potentially crippled in that same magic himself. It's a lot.
It's incredibly precarious. The whole situation is just volatile. The grief, the secrets, the Piebalds, Thick, the prince's training, it's all building.
And it comes to a head, violently.
Yeah, Fitz tracks down Silver Bazinga, finds him being attacked by two Piebalds, Lodwine and Paget. Fitz jumps in.
Kills Paget.
But then Lodwine gets him, sort of thrust in the back. Fitz collapses, bleeding out. And the irony, he ends up in a Buckkeep jail cell accused of murder for defending the crown's interests, basically.
And he's dying, which leads to, well, something extraordinary, and maybe disastrous in its own way.
The accidental coterie formation.
Yeah.
Chade the Fool, Dutiful and Thick. They link minds. Spontaneously. Desperately trying to heal Fitz.
The Fool called it a feeble thing, didn't he? But the effect on Fitz...
Immense. Not gentle healing. An explosion into blackness. Searing light, feeling like his body was torn apart and forced back together like a broken limb jerked straight.
He's saved, but the source says made whole, but at a cost to the strength of that whole.
Exactly. He's alive, but somehow diminished. And in saving him, they accidentally forge Prince Dutiful's first skill coterie, the group meant to support the throne's magic.
But you called it disastrous. Why is this new coterie such a potential problem? It sounds like it should be a good thing.
Well, look who's in it. You've got Chade, who's ambitious and just got skilled himself. The Fool, who doesn't really have the skill, just silver awareness. Thick, who's powerful but uncontrollable and hates Fitz. Fitz, who's unreliable, maybe fading, definitely damaged. And Dutiful the Prince, whose skill is tangled up with the wit.
Okay, yeah. That doesn't sound like a cohesive unit.
Not even close. Fitz himself calls it, like, catalyst indeed. A normal coterie lends strength to the leader. This one. Fitz says it could not function without him. He's the unwilling linchpin holding this completely mismatched, dysfunctional group together. They're not a team. They're just people who happen to be there at the worst possible moment.
Wow. So we've covered a huge amount today. The Narcheska's tattoos being a form of compulsion, the Piebalds' psychological warfare, Thick's dangerous potential, and then this This accidental broken coterie formed in sheer desperation.
And the thread running through it all is how Fitz's personal struggles, his grief, his need for secrecy, keep having these massive political consequences. It just reinforces his fear about that inescapable circuit, that ordained path. He tries to step off, but every step somehow pulls him deeper in.
It really drives home that point he makes about the circle, the repetition. We go faster, we slow down, and each time we think the circle is something new.
He sees the pattern, but seems powerless to change it.
So thinking about all that, the costs, the losses, the fact that even being saved just locks him into this new, fragile, demanding structure with the coterie, it leads to the big question, doesn't it?
What the sources leave us hanging with.
Can any choice he makes actually break that cycle? Or is he, like he fears, just running that same course forever, maybe faster sometimes, slower others, but always on the same track his bloodline laid out for him?
Something for you to definitely mull over until our next deep dive.